Hey guys, what is up? Reese here, and I've got a brand new shoe pickup to bring you. And this is actually a pair that's kind of unique for me. What we're looking at is the Adidas D Rose 4.5. This is the light scarlet, pop, and black colorway. These retail for $140. These came out back in February, and there were a couple pairs that were released initially, and there were 3 pairs that were Chicago Bulls inspired colorways, which obviously makes sense since Derrick Rose plays for the Bulls. And you had a silver pair that was kind of the home pair. You had the black away pair, and then you had these, which are the alternates. They're also called the Brendas, and that's simply because Derrick Rose's mom is her name is Brenda, and her favorite color is red. And so every time there's the alternate red pair, their nickname is the Brendas. And this is kind of a unique pickup for me, just for the fact that it's the first pair of Adidas shoes I've purchased in I think the last 3 years. And it's one of only 3 or 4 pairs in my collection. And, you know, a lot of my friends assume I have some sort of personal vendetta against Adidas or something. But really all it turns out is, like, you know, every time I go to buy a pair of shoes, I just basically, you know, when I have the money or whenever, you know, when the stars have aligned, I buy whatever is kind of the coolest pair or the pair that I like the most that I can get at that point. And for me, for whatever reason, with my taste, it just usually happens to be a pair of Nikes or Jordans or whatnot. But there was something I just really liked about this shoe. And like I said, it's the D Rose 4.5, and what that means is it's kind of the mid-season update on the D Rose 4. And I haven't actually worn or had much experience with the D Rose 4, but from what I've heard, technically the shoe is very similar. The biggest change is the aesthetics. It just looks different. And honestly, in my opinion, the changes they made to how it looks were huge. I don't have a problem with how the 4 looks, but it was never something that made me go like, wow, that's a cool shoe. But for this, it was kind of the look of the shoe that really made me want to pick it up, and I was like, wow, that looks really cool. And I'll get more into this in the close-up view, but you've got kind of these stripes along the upper, which really help to break it up. And what's cool is, you know, there was a pair that released, it's called the Zest pair, and those really take advantage of the stripes. You've got black stripes, and then you've got orange on the rest of the upper to kind of give it a tiger look. But what's cool is, even though on this pair the entire upper is one color, they use different patterns on the stripes versus back here and then on the toe box to really give it that different look. And so even though it's all the same color, it doesn't look like just, you know, one glob of red. You can really see all the different details, and that's something that I really like with this shoe. So let's get right into it. I'll jump into an up-close look, and we'll kind of take a look at colors, different materials that Adidas uses. This was actually kind of cool for me, because just since I don't have a ton of experience with Adidas, I got to kind of do some research and see what they use to make their shoes and all sorts of things like that. So let's get right into it. Here we go with our close-up look of the Adidas D Rose 4.5 in the alternate or Brenda colorway. First thing real quick, the shoe does come with a hang tag. It's black metal hang tag, and it's got the D Rose logo on both sides. Just something kind of cool. And then, so the shoe itself, before I talk about the colors and everything, I'll just quickly go through different technologies that it uses. It uses Adidas Sprint Frame, which is kind of a chassis support system for the shoe. It starts back here, and basically the idea is to keep your foot a little bit lower to the ground, a little bit closer to the action, while still providing support. And then the cushioning for the shoe is adiprene cushioning. For the upper, you've got a mix of materials known as Sprint Web, and basically what Sprint Web is kind of a upper construction pattern that works to reduce waste and excess material to keep the shoe breathable and light while still providing good durability, you know, obviously what's needed for a shoe. And then lastly, you've got what's called GeoFit technology on the lining here, and that's basically what helps with the fit for your foot inside the shoe. Now diving into colors, for the main part of the upper, you've got your light scarlet, which is just a very vibrant red. And like I mentioned earlier, what's cool about this is you've got kind of different portions, or different materials, excuse me, on the upper, and each material kind of has its own pattern. You've got these stripes that start back here, and then they just come up throughout the shoe, and they are a kind of a slightly shiny pattern, and it kind of reminds me, if you've ever seen like an audio signal, just kind of like the very scratchy back and forth, like I kind of think of from like a record or something, and you can kind of see that here. It's just a very interesting pattern that just kind of, with the material, just kind of makes it stand out and gives it, you know, a couple different looks. As you can see, as I kind of move it, as the light hits it differently, it kind of looks a little bit different. And then in these sections back here between the stripes, you've got more of a mesh material that helps with just breathability, keeping the shoe open so that your foot can breathe a little bit. And then up in the toe box, you've got more of a synthetic material. It's kind of a little bit pebbled almost. It's just got a little bit of texture that's different from the back of the shoe. Let me see if I can zoom in on that at all. Maybe. There you can kind of see it right there. It's just kind of that pebbled look. And you have that on the toe box. And then it also comes up on the eyelets. You got a mix of your stripes along with that pebbled material. Now looking at the kind of the lace area of the shoe, you've got these lace ornaments at the bottom. And I don't think my camera's going to pick them up very well, but it's a gold plastic piece, gold colored plastic piece. And it says Rose across it. And then if you flip it, you actually also have the D Rose logo back there. And so what I've done, you won't really be able to see it, but right here I have it on the side that says Rose, and then I have the D Rose logo over here just to kind of give it just a little bit different look between the two. I've always kind of liked those little lace ornaments. You know, they don't really do anything at all for performance or anything, but it's just kind of something cool to add to the shoe. Your tongue, for the most part, is black, as you can see behind the laces, but then up here at the top, it's red, and it's that same pebbled material as you have on the toe box, and then you have your D Rose logo in white. The laces themselves are red, and let's see if we can kind of zoom in there. You've got gray speckles on the laces, and I've always been kind of a sucker for laces that aren't just a normal color. I really enjoy kind of different laces, and I think that's something nice that just adds a little bit to the shoe, and, you know, doesn't really like draw too much attention, but it's just something, a little bit of extra detail, I guess. And then looking back at the side of the shoe again, right here on the outside of the shoe, you have this black synthetic material with perforations, and then you have the D Rose logo right there. It's a metal piece, and that is gold. Flipping to the other side, the inside of the shoe is very similar, although back here instead of black, you just have red. And also, you can kind of see there's the Adidas logo right there. It says Adidas, and then you got the 3 stripes above it. And that's the only place really that the shoe says Adidas. The branding is kind of minimal on here, which is kind of cool for the signature shoe. If we look here at the back, you do also have your 3 stripes. That's the other main place where you can see like, oh, that's an Adidas shoe. And I think on my camera it kind of looks like this red is the same red as the main part of the shoe. But this is actually more of an infrared. It's definitely got a little more pink. And so then back here, while we're here, you can see this is the kind of the main cup of the sprint frame. And it's a black plastic material, maybe a dark gray. And it's very geometrical. You can see all those triangles that kind of are glistening as I'm moving the shoe. It's a very cool look. You've got gold stitching up through here, and then a little black piece coming around there. Looking at, if we look at the back of the tongue, the back of the tongue is black, and you've got kind of a D Rose flag logo. It's the stripes of the flag, except instead of white in between the red, you've got black. And then over here where you would normally have the blue with white stripes, you have the D Rose logo in red. And the lining of the shoe with your GeoFit technology, you can see all these little squares, is red. And then the insole is black, and you've got Derrick Rose's signature. Last thing to look at is midsole and outsole. The upper part of the midsole is almost a little bit shiny. It's your dark gray or black. It's kind of hard to, I think it's a dark gray, but it's kind of, you know, fuzzy in terms of that. And then the bottom of your outsole is white. As you can see on the outside of the shoe, it's very kind of like one unit, you know, it's very straight and everything. But if we look at the inside of the shoe, you've got all these grooves for flexibility. But again, it's the same. You've got your black or dark gray up top, and then your white on the bottom. Lastly, let's look at the outsole. The outsole is basically all white, except where you've got your infrared stripes just coming through, wrapping from the back. You've got herringbone traction pattern, but as you can see, there's a lot of little breaks in here, especially on the inside, for that extra movement for the sole. So that about does it for this shoe. Sorry, I think this video is going to be a little bit long, but I just kind of want to go through everything that's going on here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you kind of enjoyed the fact that I'm branching out a little bit in terms of picking up, you know, an Adidas pair of shoes for once. Definitely going to be looking at more after this pair. I'm really, really enjoying them. I've worn them around just my house a little bit just to kind of get used to them and get a feel for them. I'm really, really pleased with them. One last thing before I go, I forgot to mention, right up here where you've got your black or dark gray, it does say Derek Rose. Camera's kind of picking that up, but it's not going to pick it up that well. So thanks for checking this out, guys, and have a great day.